What's going on YouTube? A little bit different of a video today. You can see I am sitting at my desk. This is where I do all of my editing, both the videos and the photo side of things. The reason I'm sitting in front of my desk today is because I want to go over some promotional material for the new Rotolight Neo 2. I've seen it in the comments of my videos. I've seen it on forums and Facebook groups. A lot of people are talking about this Rotolight Neo 2 because of some of the promotional materials claimed. So I thought I would highlight some portions of the promotional material and explain to you what it all means. And the reason I'm doing this is because the nature of the promotional material is kind of exclaiming that this is a new era of photography. And I understand companies are going to use hyperbole in their marketing in order to gain excitement about a product. But the reason I'm making this video though is because lots of people are buying the hype, and I don't want to call what they're saying about their product misinformation, but I do want to explain the reality of how this tool is going to impact us as photographers. So I'm going to show you some parts of the promotional footage. I want to go over all of their claims and explain what it actually means for us. So right off the bat, we've got the dawn of a new age of on-camera lighting. This is what I mean. It's hyping us up, man. This is some crazy gear that we're talking about here, apparently, because it's a new age of on-camera lighting. Revolutionary on-camera continuous LED light in Hss Flash. So this is a continuous LED light, all LED, and it's an Hss Flash. So what is HSS? HSS stands for high speed sync. It is an extension of flash duration. It elongates the flash duration for a long period of time, at least in comparison to a standard flash duration. A standard flash duration is like 1/1000th of a second or even faster. But high-speed sync extends that duration so that the entire camera sensor can be exposed to light even when a camera shutter is moving so fast that the entire sensor isn't open at one point. So in short, HSS is a flash acting as a continuous light for a short period of time. And I don't know why they keep on saying only on camera, continuous LED light, and HSS flash. Like, you can use this off camera. That is one of the cool things about it, is that it is off camera. Maybe that HSS isn't off camera, I don't know. So again, now featuring high-speed sync. The previous Rotolight products were strictly LEDs. Now it's a flash, so we'll get into what that means. So we can see here it's flashing really quick. Capture every moment. No recycle time, never miss a shot. This is the first point I want to hit on. There's a reason there's no recycle time. Flashes have to recycle because they are dumping a very high power output, and then the batteries need to recycle those capacitors. I don't know like the actual technical crap that's happening inside, but essentially you're making a lot of light for a very short period of time. So if something just requires zero recycle time ever, that should tell you something. It's because there isn't a ton of output coming out of it. And you might say like a Profoto B1 can recycle instantly and that's a ton of power. Yes, that's some really great engineering and it can do that for a certain amount of time, but eventually it's gonna slow down. Okay, so this is gonna revolutionize how we use lights. It fires every time. So you can see he's shooting it at like 11 frames per second. Again, the reason that he's able to shoot at 11 frames per second is because there's no recycle time. So it's gonna fire every single time. And the reason it's able to fire without recycling is because it's not a significant amount of light output. And I'm gonna get into the actual amount of light output in a moment and give you a comparison so you can understand how bright this thing's gonna be with flash. 85% brighter than Neo 1. Cool. Looks like they're advancing their technology, their LED technology. We're gonna see that. We're gonna see LED technology continue to provide more output as time goes on. And that's great. I'm in full support of LED technology getting better. Adjustable color, 6300 to 3150 in flash and continuous modes. LED panels have been doing this for a while now. It's called Bicolor LED. Essentially, you have two different color temperature bulbs that you use to make various colors. You've got a set of light bulbs that are 3150 and you've got a set of bulbs that are, in this case, 6300. So you've got both ends of the spectrum. And what it does to create all those temperatures in between is it just uses a different ratio of lights. So if you wanted to use 5000, it would use, say, 2/3 of the 6300 light and 1/3 of the 3100 bulb. And if you were all the way down at 3150, then it's not going to use the 6300 bulbs at all, and vice versa at the top of it. Now what this means is that its maximum output is not going to be daylight balance. Its maximum output is going to be when both lights are on completely fully, which is going to happen, I think in this light, around 4100. This means the maximum power output that they are promoting is at 4100 degrees Kelvin, which is far less useful than a daylight balance. So you can see right here those different colors of the bulbs. You can see that there are the white bulbs and the yellow bulbs, that is daylight bulbs and 3200 Kelvin bulbs, tungsten bulbs. It's not tungsten lighting, but it's matching tungsten color through LED lighting. Adjustable flicker-free dimming. This is another benefit of LED technology getting better, is that we're not seeing as much flicker in products even when they're at a lower price. The last thing you want to be dealing with when you're using these for video purposes is flicker. And you can also notice it in photo. If there's a certain level of flicker and you're shooting at a high enough shutter speed, then you can actually create light or color imbalances in your photos. That's what happens with fluorescent lighting in rooms, is you're seeing a flicker in the color temperature. And that's why your photos might look like crap in fluorescent lighting. Built-in Skyport Flash Receiver, if you've ever used the Elinchrom Skyport system, it's designed for the native Elinchrom lighting, but it looks like they made some deal to use that technology. Hey, that's also good because Elinchrom is super reliable stuff. So as you can see, now they've got it off camera. Don't know why they were saying on camera, but it looks like you can use the high-speed sync off camera, which if it was on camera only, that would have been useless. Featuring an updated suite of Cine SFX. I like that fire effect where you can kind of see the dimming of the fire as it's a very warm temperature, and then it looked like they had a lightning where it's flickering at its highest output and then dying down. And I think those are pretty cool. I'd like to see more of what they do with that. I don't know how many applications there are, but hey, anytime that you can make it simpler for filmmakers to get unique effects like that, also in support. Boom. This is the biggest indicator of its power output. 85,000 flashes on 6 AA batteries. If a Canon Speedlight can get 300-400 full power flashes on 4 AA's, why can this get 85,000? It's because it's not putting out nearly as much light output, not anywhere near it. Maybe 1/20th sounds like. Again, we're gonna break down those numbers in a bit, but when I saw this is all I needed to see to tell me that this was not creating much light, because unless they found a new way to manufacture light output without using electricity, then these numbers, yeah, you get it. Looks like all those bulbs are RGB, so that's really cool as well. I know I've got that Yongnuo YN360 and I love being able to create colors with those other bulbs that are on there. This is different. It looks like the regular bulbs, the ones that are designed to project the 5500 Kelvin or 3200 Kelvin, can also be used to create those color effects, which is nice because it means the output of those colors will be strong. Optional barn doors, optional softbox. If you're looking at it as a photographer, if you're looking at this and thinking, oh yeah, it does have modifiers for it, if you put that thing in a softbox and take any of that light that you were getting out of it, you're going to be in trouble, especially if you think you're going to be putting it in a big softbox, like a 3-foot softbox or something. I don't know what modifiers they are doing, but I do like that they have proprietary modifiers, because otherwise this system would be useless to somebody like me, because if I can't modify my light source, then what do I care? But you're going to be limited. Proprietary modifiers, never a good thing. Oh, they'll sell you 3 of them if you want. Okay, small light. Big results. A lot of people would mistake this for soft light. It's not soft light, it's flat light. It's light directly on axis with the camera. This is what happens. You don't get any shadows whatsoever. The shadows that are created are directly behind whatever is creating them, and therefore you don't see them from the point of the camera. In another piece of promotional material, they were calling this a soft light, and no, nothing but relative size will make soft light. All right, so essentially this is an LED. This is an LED flash. This isn't the first time we've seen it. We've seen it before. The LumaCube is very similar to this in that it's an LED, but it calls itself a flash simply because it can project LED lighting for a short period of time. This isn't a flash tube that we're talking about. It's LED bulbs. There's a peak amount of power that they can create, and that's all that there is to it. One nice thing is that Rotolight did publish the actual light output specs on this so that we can compare. So on their website, under the technical specs for the Neo 2, you can see that its peak power is at 4110 Kelvin. 4110 Kelvin temperature. That is the peak output that this light can perform at, because that's when both bicolor LEDs, all the LEDs on it, are going to be at full power. PSU power. So these measurements aren't even on a battery. These are apparently on a power supply. So the 9-foot rating on this at ISO 200 is f2.8. If you had your camera at ISO 200 and 1/60th of a second and you had this 9 feet away from your subject, then you would have to use an aperture of f2.8. That is not powerful. That is not powerful at all. Let's break this down. If it was ISO 100, it would be f2. And this is the Hss Flash Mode that we're talking about here. 9 feet, f2, ISO 100. First off, let's imagine that we had this at daylight balance so that it's how we would use flash. We're gonna lose another, let's say 2/3 of a stop. We're down to f1.6. f1.6, ISO 100, 9 feet. If you were to use an 8200, and the reason I'm saying 8200 here is because that's what somebody is asking me. Somebody said this was 200 watts or the equivalent of 200 watt seconds. No, we'll talk about a 200 watt second light. The Godox 8200 at ISO 100 at 10 feet, not even 9 feet, would measure over f8. I think it's 8.3, but let's just call it f8 for comparison. So we've got f8 versus f1.6. That is about a 5-stop difference in power. And that means that you would need 32 Rotolight Neo 2s to match the power output of an 8200 at full power. 32 of them. So I think that this Rotolight Neo has a lot of cool perks, but it's still just a continuous light. There's a reason that all of their promo material is filled in these completely dark rooms, because that's the only place that these are really going to be extremely useful. Now I think that there's a huge market for videographers, cinematographers, anybody doing video that is going to find this product really useful. Being a bicolor LED, those creative effects, the RGB, all of those are going to be great for videographers. But in terms of this revolutionizing photography, not going to happen. There's tons of LED products on the market that are hitting this level of power output. You could go use any of those, turn those on, and essentially have the same HSS flash experience, because in the end of the day, all this is continuous light. Sound like a broken record at this point. I'm seeing so many misconceptions about this light, and it's not even out yet, that I just wanted to clear it up for everybody who is interested. This way I have something to point to when people ask me about it, because I know this thing is only going to get more popular the way it's being promoted. So hope that helped you out. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more, and keep on shooting, YouTube.